Nago has been hailed as a strong character, but he's not exactly straightforward to understand. Like, yeah, if you ask somebody what he's good at, then they might give you an answer like, just hit him and do big damage, right? But then you jump into a match and realize, wait, how exactly do I hit him? So in this video, I won't be giving you every way how to really hit your opponent, but I will be giving you 3 things that you should be doing right now to improve your Nago game. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it does something with the algorithm that makes me get more money. So, you know, more money equals more videos, which is nice, right? Also, follow me on twitch.tv/GrandmastaJ and catch your boy live. Anyways, that's it. Let's get into it. So first things first is lesson number 1, and this is going to be about Nago's strike throw situation. So the biggest threat about Nago is the fact that he has a command grab, right? Why is this a threat? Because of a couple of things. One, if you have high blood, the command grab does a base amount of like 100 damage. It does a lot of fun damage, right? You don't want to be getting chewed up by this whole lot, especially if they have a lot of blood. Also, it just like is obvious, right? But if I just sit here and I just fucking command grab you all day long, right, you're going to eventually need to do something about it. So if you have lower health, for example, like if you're just like one bite away, you really are probably going to be flailing around. Or like if you're playing Nago, you're probably going to be dealing with an opponent who flails around a lot. But also, a lot of people understand that his command grab is specifically tied to his blood meter and it refunds all of his blood. Now, this is important because his blood moves are really, really strong. So the more he command grabs you, the more he has access to these incredibly strong moves, the more your opponent is probably going to die. This is further cemented by the fact that they, for some reason, in some way, shape, or form, somewhere, somehow, don't know why, made this a low and this a high, right? So for some ungodly reason, right, he's able to do pressure like this because you just got scared of getting hit high. Or you might be thinking, well, I mean, I'm just gonna block the FUD in low because like get hit high doesn't even do that much damage. Well, you might be wrong about that. It still does a crap ton of damage. So basically, command grabs equals more everything, and then you kill people, and then it's great, right? So your opponents at a higher level is going to be doing a technique called fuzzy jump. What the frick is a fuzzy jump? A fuzzy jump, in layman's terms, it's essentially your opponent blocks for a short amount of time and then does jump and then holds down back again. The input is literally just down, up, down, right? But what you're doing is that you're blocking just enough to be able to block a meaty button, and then you're jumping just before a command grab or any sort of grab is able to hit you. The reason why this works is because throws have, I believe there is a 6-frame throw protection window. So out of block stun or on recovery, is it 5 frames? Yeah, it's 5 frames because if you have a 6-frame, normally you get cooked. So there is a 5-frame throw protection window. So that means that out of block stun or on recovery, you cannot be thrown for 5 frames. Now, people utilize this by being able to block for about 4 or so frames, which is just enough to be able to block a meaty and then jumping. This is a demonstration of what that looks like. So I'm going to meaty him, right? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to meaty him, right? And I'm going to grab him. And as you can see, he's just blocking both, right? He never gets hit. And same thing for when you knock him down. So I knock him down. I try to grab him, nothing. I knock him down. Try to do a meaty, nothing, right? How do you overcome this, right? Basically, in layman's terms, just delay your close slash. That's it. If you are fighting an opponent and it feels like everything they do or everything you do does not work, whether you're meeting them or whether you are trying to command grab them, just delay your button just a little bit. The reason why this works is because I believe when you jump, there is a 5-frame window. I should really be looking this stuff up, but I'm not. There's like a 5 to 8-frame window. I don't think 8 frames. It's like a 5-frame window of like pre-jump frames where your opponent cannot block at all. So this is what it's going to look like instead, right? You see that? This is what I've been having to learn to do for a while. If you mess it up, you say they block it. If you do it right, you actually hit them, right? So you want to practice this. This is just something you want to practice, right? Set your opponent to custom and then just do down, up, down, right? And the recording that you want is something where if you try to command grab them, it's not going to work. And if you try to hit them with a meaty, it's not going to work. See? Even if I went low, it's just not going to work, right? And then you got to practice hitting that. Same thing for... You got to practice hitting that. When I practice this, it greatly improves my Nago gameplay. Right? Because every time I hit them, or every time I pressured them, like higher level opponents were just getting absolutely fucking smoked by this. Right? And then you just do so much damage. It's very, very effective. So if you're not doing that, you should do it. That's how you do it. Set your opponent to practice. Good to go. The second thing you should be doing. This is something that I implemented in my game plan a while ago, and it is very good. It is Shadow Clone Double Fukio. This is really good because normally your opponent is used to you like doing like clone into Fukio, but they're very, very rarely ready for the second one. And when you do the second one, like the momentum of the first one kind of slingshots you forward like in a super aggressive way. And what you're able to do is like catch your opponent's hesitation and then just straight up command grab them, right? If you do it directly after clone, there's like a weird timing to it where you kind of have to pause. You see like that like weird like, you know what I'm saying? But after a double, you don't have to wait for that. They're completely out of block stun. It totally throws them off guard. You're just able to big chomps. And the other funny thing is that if your opponent is scared, like they see it and they react and they're scared, you can do something like this. You can do something like this. And usually what happens is that they react to you double Fukioing forward. They flail, they either backdash or they try to jump like kind of up back or something like that. And then your close slash just completely it makes them explode. So it's really, really cool. If you're not doing it, you should be doing it. Last thing, I've shown this on the channel before, but when you have meter and you have your opponent in the corner, even if you don't have your opponent in the corner, this is a mix that you should really be doing. It is 6H, right? 6H, RC forward, Fukio forward. Now, this is incredibly strong, and I have shown this before on the channel. Yet it's called the Virix, but the variation that I showed you is actually a much more inferior version than what I'm going to show you now. So before, the point of the Virix was that you would do this, right? And you do that, and you get a ton of damage. Now, the problem with that is that if your opponent blocked this, you were minus 11 and you had no cancel options. So your opponent can absolutely smoke you, especially a character like Sol or Kai. They can absolutely smoke you. Now, I did kind of go for a different version of this. I went for a version that looks like this, right? That's right. And what happens is that if your opponent is crouching, this combos. And you can go into like command grab and you're able to like hit confirm it. It's very, very good. Problem though that I encountered when I was fighting Nitro, in fact, was that there's a gap here, right? Nitro was absolutely scooping the beans out of me when I was doing this. There's also another problem to it, which is the fact that if your opponent's actually standing, this does not combo. It doesn't combo at all, right? So it's not good if your opponent, even if you catch them low, this doesn't combo, which is like you're just wasting resources for nothing because they're just going to block the 6K and then you're cooked. So the remedy is pretty obvious. Just 6K, bro. Just 6K. Just go straight for the 6K. 6K is incredibly good here because even if your opponent blocks it, right? Say they block this move, for example, and then they want to like press a button. If you react, right, to them blocking it, you can go for another frame trap. And then just pop blood and then make them regret their choices. Make them regret their life decisions. So you're able to go for a second mix after the first mix, which is very, very strong. Because obviously, if your opponent does nothing, right, you can go for a command grab here. Or, say for example, they just get hit low, right? You're able to get a close slash here. Yes, your opponent can stagger out if they're ready for it, but for my testing, right, this is fast stagger, right? I think fast stagger is the only thing that works. Even if you go for like a normal stagger, that still combos. So your opponent has to get a perfect stagger recovery in the middle of pressure, in the middle of freaking the frick out. Otherwise, you can get a ton of damage. Look at that. Look at how much damage that did. Holy freaking Fernoli beans. So, yeah. That's the Virex 2.0. And if you're not doing it, you really shouldn't. Because this move is mad good. That's going to do it. That's it. Those are 3 things you should be doing if you're playing Nago. This is mostly an explanation about Fuzzy Guard, but those other 2 things were just some things that I picked up along the way of practicing for a tournament. They're very, very strong. If you play Nago, you should do it. So thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.